If you're an entrepreneur and your business is not yet registered, if you're looking to grow your registered business, or you're an accomplished professional. Our Elevate program supports you with access to finance, access to markets, access to capacity building. Sign up now or refer a friend at ecobank.com/elevate. Elevate by EcoBank. A better way, a better Africa.
Jar Oil. The company have filling stations across the country, and our rates are relatively cheaper than anyone else across the country. Jar Oil is the biggest producer and distributor of cement in the country with the most competitive prices in the market.
Sant yàlla.
looy xaar utal Wave nga scan nga fay nag doo ci yokku dara.
And so first today, Friday, the 24th of July, 2026, marine sand mining in Banjul has become a serious environmental and economic concern. Mayor Rohi Malik Low has warned that unchecked extraction is eroding the capital's fragile coastline, increasing flood risks and threatening fish and tourism livelihoods. The Gambia Ports Authority has also linked coastal sand mining to accelerated sedimentation at the port of Banjul, raising dredging costs and complicating trade operations. Well, joining us now is Honorable Modou Lamin Biramba, National Assembly member for Banjul North. Honorable Ba has raised these concerns in the National Assembly and is here to shed light on the issues as well as to discuss his campaign for improved health services for residents of Banjul and the Gambia in general. Honorable Ba, good to have you always on Coffee Time.
Thank you very much, Uncle Peter, and Assalamu alaikum to all our listeners right now. I am indeed very honored to be here today, this morning.
Fantastic.
And I will want to say Juma Mubarak to all our Muslim brothers and sisters out there.
Juma Mubarak to everyone indeed. Yeah. Juma Mubarak is simply a blessed Friday to everyone, Christian, Muslim, or whatever. Yeah. Can we begin with you clarifying, if you can, whether the company involved in the sand mining at Saro has met its obligation to pay royalties to the BCC, the Banjul City Council, from the sand mining operations?
From information that I received, because as a member of Parliament, part of our oversight, part of our function is to perform oversight. So I was able to consult the stakeholders in terms of how far, in terms of what has been paid as loyalty to for the Banjul City Council for the city of Banjul. And I was given a positive response that there was already payment made to the government through the Ministry of Finance, understanding that currently even the Ministry of Finance was able to ask the Banjul City Council to come up with what we call the community, a committee rather, on community corporate fund, which was already set up and led by Her Worship the Mayor of Banjul. And this committee comprises of different stakeholders, including the Ministry of Health, the Ministry of Finance, the Ministry of Local Government and Lands, even Environment, and also members from the council, and also some members from the community. So this is something that has been existing since April this year, because I was also privileged to get access to that information that they held their first meeting on the 17th of April this year, whereby they were tasked to come up with a TOR for the committee, which I believe they already did. Okay. So now the question is, why is it that these funds that are already paid by the company.
I think it's Sino Majilak
Yes,
Jalbak. Huh?
yeah, that is the SMJ
Yes,
company.
Sino Majilak
Yeah,
Jalbak.
yeah. So they should. Now the question is, like I said, why is these funds not yet released and paid to the accounts of that committee that is set up, or to the Banjul City Council to start what we call development in the city? Because we are indeed very worried as city dwellers and also as representatives. That is why we deem it necessary to come here, understanding that currently there is no ordinary session in Parliament. But again, it is important to come to this important platform to talk to the people.
Okay. So why are you worried? I mean, what does the lack of payment of royalties to the BCC mean for the city's ability maybe to fund essential services for Banjul residents?
We believe that the fund will improve development in the city, especially currently as I am speaking. There are already 2 facilities that are up, already constructed in the city of Banjul. And one of them have to do with the Youth for Excellence Center. It was constructed and ready for almost 2-3 years ago. But up to date, it is not into operation because of lack of the required equipment that they need in terms of making sure that the place is
so these royalty payments would have helped
help and support exactly
for
that.
This center.
We all know the Crab Island Sustainable Development Center that was already secured through the Banjul Osten EU-funded project. I call that center now a white elephant. Why? Because since when it was inaugurated, since last Ramadan, nothing is done yet. Because of what? Also lack of equipment to start operationalizing the entire
It begs the
facility.
question about transparency. How transparent are the agreements between the City Council and SMJ regarding, the sand mining operations that are going on and the revenue being realized from it?
I believe this has to do with the company and also the government, because it's like 20% of the funds that the company is paying to the government, according to law, should go to the City Council for development.
So for every 100
yes,
that SMJ gives to
only
the
20%.
government of the Gambia, $20 should go to the BCC.
Exactly. And as we are speaking today, I cannot really ascertain the amount, but it is more than $20 million we're talking about here.
That government should be paying to BCC.
Exactly.
And the people of Banjul.
Exactly.
Oh, wow.
So you come to realize that this is not a small money, and that is why it is indeed a very big concern. I really understand the reason why the mayor is coming out as the leader of the city to add her voice in this. And as a representative also, I deem it necessary to come forward, because it is also very important, no matter what, we are in Parliament to address the needs and the concerns of our people. And currently, as we are speaking, I had a lot of engagement with my people. And to be honest, they raise a lot of concerns, because you talk about the environmental effect that it is having in the city of Banjul, especially my constituency.
That was going to be my next question.
Yeah, because it is within my constituency.
How it is impacting, the
yes,
environment in Banjul, and especially livelihoods
not to be honest, and
residents.
even the issue of the local content. Indeed, it is a company. How many people from Banjul are working there?
How many?
It's a concern.
How many?
I really don't know.
Okay.
And I don't even think that there are many. Looking at the current situation happening there. But again, I believe it is also very important to always encourage what we call local content, especially when it comes to companies that are operating within specific areas in this country, which is indeed very important. But again, it comes the issue of environmental effect. We're talking about the famous Danton Bridge. This bridge was built even before when I was born. But again, you come
Well,
to
the old one, the current one,
yes.
definitely is not as old as you are.
Not to be honest, it might be. If I am to
The
be
one,
older than
the one we are currently using, no, the old one.
the old one
the
is
one that
is
was
older.
knocked down
Yes.
for this one.
Yes, to be
that one
honest,
is definitely older than
me.
Yeah.
So you come to realize that the lifespan of that particular bridge, because you just have to imagine the number of trucks on a daily basis that are using that bridge. It will depreciate the value of that bridge. So these are some of the effects that we're talking about. But again, I think what is more important now is to make sure that government release that fund and give it to the Banjul City Council through the committee that has to do with Community Corporate Fund to do the needful in terms of making sure that they bring development to the city of Banjul. Because if not, we heard what the mayor say, and that is the honest truth.
So the mayor used another platform to discuss the sand mining in Banjul. You are now using a different platform to discuss the same issue. How closely are the two of you working together, in the common interest of Banjulians?
Our relationship is very mutual, and we are very close. And
well, you share the same political party.
Not only because of the same political party, it is family before politics, and this is my belief. And I believe as concerned city dwellers, we are indeed, and also representative of the people. It is incumbent upon us as mandated by the people to us to make sure that we better represent them.
So your reactions, your responses to, developments are always coordinated?
Of course, we should do that, because at the end of the day, whatever development we see in the city should be all-inclusive efforts in terms of making sure that everything is achieved together.
So,
and is always like the result will always be positive, because if you come together, you'll be able to make things happen, and you do it, you make it right.
So she's head of the municipal body in the capital, head of the BCC, and you're a member of the National Assembly.
Sure.
Does the National Assembly have a role in this?
Of course, we have a role in this, and part of our oversight.
And how has it discharged its responsibility, to the people of Banjul vis-a-vis the concerns just raised about the sand mining that they seemingly are not benefiting from?
That is why that brings me to the issue of what has been recently trending in Parliament, that is the adjournment of session, sigh and die without debate. It's a big concern for members like me in Parliament, because if you look at it, these are concerns that we can raise during that particular period. But unfortunately, we have seen of recent what is happening in Parliament. Even the last ordinary session, it was adjourned, sigh and die without debate, which was a very unfortunate situation for us, because a member like me had a lot of concerns to raise. For example, the issue of...
Why is an adjournment debate important? What can you do during an adjournment
because
debate that you couldn't do during the main session, for instance?
Yes, because what happened is the adjournment debate is part of the ordinary session. Every end of session, we have what we call adjournment debate, and we are mandated to speak or to deliberate on behalf of our people. You can bring issues that is affecting your constituency, and at the same time, by extension, the entire country, because as a National Assembly member, you have that mandate to talk about the entire situation of the country.
Sure.
And in that session also, or that particular sitting, the Vice President is present, and all the cabinet ministers are present. So it is like a direct conversation that you have, and also with their technicians. They will be present, that is the PS and the directors from different ministries. So that is always one of the best platforms that you can use to raise your voice on behalf of your people. And again, your people will understand that you are also taking their concerns to the Parliament, because that is why it is called locally the Penchum Reumi.
But if the adjournment debate is that important, why would Parliament not have it? Why would Parliament just adjourn without having the debate?
And you see, this is the $1 million question that we always ask. And most of the time, this comes from the majority caucus of the parliament, which comprises of the MPP, NAMS, with their alliance.
The NRP.
Yes, they come together and I say it locally, complot against us as the minority in parliament. And, parliament also, when it comes to the proceeding, the majority carries the vote. So in that regards, they will use their numbers to get rid of us, to not knowing also that they are bringing up a lot of damages. Because, for example, right now, this current situation could have been raised in the parliament, and parliament could have looked at it and see it as a concern. Because in parliament, we have what we call the environment committee. We have what we call the FPAC committee. So all these committees could have, listened to a member like me and said, this is a concern. And
but you have raised the sand mining concern before.
Of course, I did.
So what did the Environment Committee do about it? What did FPAC do about it?
For me, absolutely nothing. Because if they did something about it, then I will not be here today to talk about loyalty being paid to the government, and that needs to be paid to the city council through the community corporate fund committee to start bringing development to the city, because we are there in need, to be honest. And again, with all what is happening in terms of the effects, we still want to see that, because what the fund should do is to support the people that are affected. And I can say the city is affected while Banjul not are affected. So that is why it is even my concern as
How
a
are
member
you
of
affected?
parliament.
Is it through coastal erosion?
Of course.
How has it impacted on the livelihoods of residents of Banjul North, for instance, whom you represent?
Yeah, because when it comes to even that area, it is part of Banjul North. And that is where the mining is happening. But sometimes they even call it, I had this conversation with one of the environmental scientists. He was like, currently what is happening in Banjul is not sand mining, but instead salt mining.
Salt mining?
Yes. And if you look at it properly, it's like technically, he might be right, because that particular site...
Salt mining?
Yeah, because the river is salty. It's salty.
Yeah, but what they're extracting is sand. It's not salt.
That's very true. It's
not
sand,
salt, sorry.
It's sand that they are extracting.
Yes.
But sand with salt. That is what he's trying to...
We don't see the salt because nobody consumes that salt.
Okay, fine.
Okay, let's talk about the impact on the livelihoods of people of Banjul, especially Banjul North residents.
Okay, like I said, environmentally, we all can remember what happened in Banjul in 2022. That is the devastating floods,
yes.
Which also forced so many families, so many residents in Banjul, especially Banjul North, to be displaced. And we are saying that we don't want such a situation to reoccur. And that is why we are trying by all means to put a lot of efforts. And if you follow my advocate in Parliament, my deliberations in Parliament, most of the time I make emphasis of why do we have to take care of our environment, which is indeed very important. Understanding that if we are not mindful, and people will always think that Banjul is above sea level. Banjul is under sea level.
Who says Banjul is above sea level?
Some people say that,
Goodness
to be
me.
honest. But again, thank God that...
That's the first thing they teach you,
yes,
that Banjul is below sea level.
Exactly. But again, you go to platforms. I heard people saying that Banjul is 1 meter above sea level. I said, no, that is not correct. And we cannot even say that. So meaning Banjul is going down. And when it goes down, it will never come up. That is the real truth. But what are we doing to better plan the city? And this is also another concern that I have.
Okay.
But again, I believe with our efforts, because part of the fund, I believe, the Banjul City Council will use to maintain the coconut trees that they are growing at the beach in Banjul, which is indeed also something that we believe can be very helpful at the end of the day. So you come to realize that it has a lot of environmental effect, especially when it comes to the issue of the sea level rise. And again, you see the issue of the bridge. It's a concern. We are not talking about it today, but again, God forbid, it might happen very soon.
So what do you want to be done about the bridge?
We must take care of the bridge and making sure that constant rehabilitation of the bridge, the maintenance of the bridge always happen.
Okay.
Because currently, if you
Is
pass...
the sand mining affecting, the bridge in any way?
Of course, the number of trucks that are using that part of the road or the bridge itself.
Well, they only use it when they are coming into Banjul, isn't it? I
No,
thought
when they are even living in
Yeah,
Banjul.
yeah, okay.
Yeah, because they have to come. Because most of these trucks, I believe, they don't live in Banjul. So, and most of the sand that they mine, that they extract, they normally sell them outside Banjul. So eventually they will use the bridge.
Okay.
So this is something that also the Ministry of...
so pressure on the bridge.
Yes, so the Ministry of Transport also...
Coastal erosion.
Yes.
And all of
So
that.
all these things are effects that we need to look into and see how best... it's all matter of helping ourselves.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you feel that money is going to the Ministry of Finance that
yeah.
is not...
that they need to release.
Yeah, that they need to release.
Yes.
But have you directly engaged, the leadership of the SMJ company that is doing the mining itself?
I didn't yet, because what I did was I engaged the authorities from the city council, because these are the
problem is caused by the mining. So
Yes.
the mining executives are there. So
Uncle Peter, what happened is I was a former staff of the city council. I worked there as the IPRO, and I can remember around 2021, the city council embarked on a tour within the city and visited. By then, this particular company was at the other side of the bridge, that is the other side of Saro, and they claimed they were, within KMC and not Banjul, because according to the demarcation, they will always tell you that Banjul begins from the checkpoint, that is the police checkpoint going towards the city. Fine, and I can remember that visit was not. It didn't go well.
it was not a friendly visit.
Yes, because the mayor went there with some councillors, especially the councillors that were part of the Planning and Development Committee of the city council. And it was, another situation.
An unfriendly encounter.
Yeah, very unfriendly.
Okay.
But again, I believe it was very necessary to do that. But since then, up to date, I see no excuse. And government cannot tell me that since then, this particular company have not been, come on, this is an open secret. This particular company have not been paying government a penny. And the law is saying 20% paid to government.
Well, we'll find
if
out.
100% is paid to government, 20% should go to the affected council.
We'll have something clear on this. I'll have the finance minister on
And
the
I
program
think
next
it's
week.
very important
Yeah.
for him to be here on this platform.
He will be
talk
on
about
Tuesday,
it.
God
Yes.
willing. I can announce that now.
And-
Let's
and
turn
that's
to
very
other things because time is racing away from us.
Yeah.
Your interest in health, particularly the health of your constituents, people of Banjul North. You're championing a medical, program this weekend. Tell us about it very quickly.
Yeah, thank you very much, Uncle Peter, once again. Just also to inform our audience that I am also the vice chairperson of the Select Committee on Health, Disaster, Humanitarian Relief and Refugee of the Gambian Parliament, and currently serving as the chairperson of the Network of African Parliamentary Committees of Health. Meaning, currently, as far as Africa is concerned, all the parliamentary committees of health in Africa, I am the one chairing that network.
Well done.
Yes. So one of the main reasons why I am so passionate about what I'm doing is that understanding that when you lose your health, you lose something, which is indeed very important. And again, as part of our mandate is to make sure that we attain what we call universal health coverage. And when you talk about universal health coverage, you must factor issues surrounding primary health care. So that is why I deem it necessary in collaboration with partners. I did it before with Innovarex Global Health through the leadership of Dr. Ismaila Baji, a very good brother. we were able to screen 436 people within Banjul North on obesity, hypertension, and also diabetes, which was indeed a very successful event. This was the same idea that I was able to present to the Cuban ambassador in the Gambia, and she bought the idea. And I want to thank Her Excellency, Madam Rodriguez, for accepting the proposal from my office, that is the Office of the National Assembly Member for Banjul North, to collaborate with us and see how best we can provide free preventive health screening for the people of Banjul North and by extension the entire city, and also free medication. Yes, because this is for the first time it is happening, and this is what I've been, advocating for, and also informing the Ministry of Health that healthcare services cannot only stop in our hospitals or our clinics, but instead it is important to extend it to our communities. And this is very fundamental because I've seen the impact. Like I said, this is going to be the 5th time I am embarking together with my team to provide such a service. And I think at the end of the day, it will help because we are expecting the Cuban medical team to be on the ground tomorrow in Tobacco Road at the main mosque in Tobacco Road at 9 a.m. And they will be there with us till 3 p.m. And they will provide free preventive screening to anybody, I will say. Okay. Because I can say it is initiated by the Office of the National Assembly Member for Banjul North, which is my office, but again in close collaboration with the Cuban ambassador and also the Cuban medical team in the Gambia. Okay. And we are expecting more than 10 doctors specialized on different areas, especially when it comes to cardiologists, neurologists. They are all going to be there with us tomorrow. And they will be more than willing to help the people. And I want to seize this opportunity to also inform each and every Banjulian, and by extension the entire country, if you have the opportunity, because why I am saying this, I believe Banjul is the only place in this country where you and I can say, where is my Sia? And it doesn't matter where we are from as far as the country is concerned. Because it is
it's everybody's capital.
Exactly.
Okay, very good. Very good.
So this is it. And to be honest, we're looking forward to have a very successful exercise. And again, believing that at the end of the day, it will be very important and also very necessary for us to attain the universal health coverage.
Fantastic. And very quickly, your comment on some of the recent national concerns. For instance, the rising crime wave, border tensions with Senegal, supplementary voter registration doubts, faltering coalition building talks, and the mood ahead of the December 5th presidential election.
Very, very interesting questions. But I will start with the issue of the rising crimes and the recent killings that have been happening in this country. It is indeed a very big concern. But again, I put it to us as people. No matter what, because there is nobody in this country that can claim that I gave life to someone. So you have no right to take someone's life. This is something that needs to be very clear. But again, our law enforcement agency, which is the police, of course, we've seen what they are doing, but we just want to urge them to add more efforts. But to add more efforts through also the parliament, because the parliament also have a responsibility to allocate more resources to them, especially when it comes to issues surrounding mobility. Because, for example, as we are speaking right now as a city, of course, they are doing extremely well because we are seeing night patrols that are happening in the city. That is why very rare you had issues like stamping happening in the city.
That's true.
So why can't they replicate the same strategy in all the regions and municipality in this country? Because in terms of human
there are
resource,
patrols going on according
Yes.
to them. They report, carrying out night patrols in chosen spots every night. But it's just that, as they claim themselves, and rightly so, they can't be everywhere all the time.
that is very true. But again, another factor that we have realized, because as a mental health champion in this country, we realize that the issue of illicit drugs, especially illicit drugs that are imported in this country, is a problem. Let them take care of our borders. And for example, today, in our port, the Port Authority, this is also another avenue that they use to bring in all these illicit tablets that these young people are using. Why can't they have a very good scanner? It's very important. We cannot talk about all the funds that are being generated by the Port Authority, and they cannot even have a proper scanner that can detect such drugs coming into this country.
Okay.
Because the usage of drug, to be honest, is really not helping.
Absolutely not.
So this is one concern that has to do with that particular...
Let's go to the border crisis
So
now.
the border crisis is very unfortunate. And one thing I always tell my people, as a country, we cannot compromise with our territory. It is all what we have. We call Gambia today Gambia because we believe we are a state, it's a nation. So no matter what, whatever you put together to have that state or nation should come from what are we doing to protect our territory.
Apparently not much, because I mean you know the issue.
That's true.
Some of our installations have been vandalized. All right, and now you have land that we thought belonged to us now being claimed by our neighbors.
Yes.
So how should we go about this problem? What's the solution to this?
The only thing that
we know the president has dispatched a special envoy to Dakar, the foreign minister, to talk to the authorities in Dakar. Apart from that, what else can we do?
Uncle Peter, I've been saying this in so many occasions, and people don't want to talk about it. That is the issue of defined territory. To tell you the truth, this is our main problem as a country. And whenever you raise it, they'll be like, don't say that rather. Because at the end of the day, where is the defined territory of the Gambia? Where does the Gambia begin? And
So
where
we
does it
need
stop?
to work on
Exactly.
proper
We must-
demarcation.
Yes, we must establish that.
Okay.
We must request, as some of us will say, the original map from the from UK.
So we have to determine where the original
yes, so
boundaries
that
and
we
what-
know exactly where we stop.
Okay.
Because at the end of the day, no matter what, it is unacceptable. Yes, you can call Gambia a small country, but
Yeah, we are small.
But again, for me, I don't see Gambia as a small country.
But compared to Senegal, we are small.
Of
compared
course,
to Guinea-Bissau, we are small.
Compared to Senegal,
Yes. So what's the point?
geographically,
What's the point you're trying to make?
I'm talking about the people living in the Gambia. We Gambians, we cannot be small.
We're a small but sovereign state. Just as
Exactly.
Senegal is a bigger but also sovereign state. So we are as sovereign as Senegal
And
is.
we are as
any
equal
other,
as any other
absolutely,
country,
absolutely.
as far as...
Okay, let's move on to coalition talks.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, your party, the UDP, has been involved in a number of, attempts to bring the opposition together. How's that going?
I believe it is still ongoing, and I can say that there is progress.
There is progress.
Yes, there is progress, because...
On the terms of the UDP.
Yes, because-
Party-led coalition rather than
Exactly.
candidate-led coalition.
Yeah, because if you look at it, what has been happening for the past months, how negotiations were done, is like we are a little bit sifting to make it clear to the Gambian people, especially to the opposition. But again, I always make this emphasis that it is important for all the opposition parties and movements in this country to come together. It's very important, because
Do you see that happening?
I see that happening, But again, it is a process.
So there's a but. Okay.
You understand?
It's work in progress. Let's
Exactly.
just say that. Honorable,
and to be honest, Uncle Peter.
Very quickly,
no,
just this lesson.
No, the thing is, we should make it very clear.
That.
Because people will always say that there is no time. We saw what happened in 2016. When was President Barrow nominated by the coalition? It wasn't more than 2 months before election.
You have to understand the circumstances are different.
But again, yes, you can say that circumstances are different.
Yes.
But again, we are saying that currently, as we are speaking, as a country, if we are seeing what is happening, President Barrow versus an empty seat, that empty seat must win. That is the honest truth.
Has it got to that level, really?
Yes, that is the honest truth.
Okay, thank you very much. Honorable Modou Lamin Biramba, National Assembly Member for Banjul North.
If you're an entrepreneur and your business is not yet registered, if you're looking to grow your registered business, or you're an accomplished professional, our Elevate program supports you with access to finance, access to markets, access to capacity building. Sign up now or refer a friend at ecobank.com/elevate. Elevate by EcoBank. A better way, a better Africa.
Jar Oil, the company, have filling stations across the country, and our rates are relatively cheaper than anyone else across the country. Jar Oil is the biggest producer and distributor of cement in the country with the most competitive prices in the market.
sant yàlla.
looy xaar utal Wave nga scan nga fay nag doo ci yokku dara.